So the local elections happened. I wanted to speak about the results and why Starmer might be the greatest libido killer we have ever encountered. He might even have the power to stop Boris Johnson from cheating on his current bedfellow. I truly believe if Keir did a line of cocaine, it would only encourage him to order a large Sprite with that KFC bucket. A void where empathy, good ideas, and charisma go to die in the most painful of circumstances. The fact it took less than a year for the public to realise Keir has the personality of a rotten avocado needs to be studied. By comparison, it took Kim Kardashian 8 years, almost a decade, to fully see Kanye West is whatever this is. And they lived together. So Keir Starmer's premiership so far has been the perfect illustration of what happens when that energetic dog actually catches that car and has to sit there and think to itself, what the f do I do with this now? The fact Starmer was installed by people much richer, much smarter than himself, not a hard task, doesn't explain why these same ventriloquists have only shoved their hands up his butt to reach his heart to continue the blood flow, which means they have neglected to make him say anything of substance. He actually vocalized that the UK Supreme Court provided much needed clarity on gender.
Look, a woman is an adult female, and the court has made that absolutely clear. I actually welcome the judgment because I think it gives real clarity.
When in fact, the court puts women in more danger than ever.
If trans men then have to use women's toilets, that's going to make women less safe, because how are you going to stop a man, a normal man, going into a woman's toilets and saying, I'm a trans man? And so I think we have to look at
I don't follow that logic.
Why?
Because the point is that we're saying that people who are biologically men shouldn't be using women's toilets. That's the point of this ruling, among other things.
But a trans man is biologically a woman.
Someone who's transitioned from being a woman to a man is...
And so they would then have to use women's toilets.
I just love when clarity means everyone has the opportunity to use the women's toilets.
Just a speedy one so that everyone's on the same page. The Supreme Court ruled this out as well. Trans men are banned from both women's and men's toilets. They literally have nowhere to go.
Oh, I apologise for my outburst. But what does that even mean? Because now things are less clear than blackout windows.
They said that trans men who are too masculine should also be banned from women's toilets. There's no gotcha here. Trans men have got it even worse than everyone else does.
Just so I can make sense of all of this, trans men that look like Jason Statham are rejected, but those resembling Ben Shapiro are given the red carpet treatment? I will say it is refreshing to see the UK court system take time out from curb stomping black men and do something brave like tackling the trans lobby and loosening their grip on the makeup tutorial industry, along with increasing child poverty, complicity in Israel's genocide, and the blatant attack on people with disabilities, which I highlighted in my last video. There are obvious reasons why actual progressives hate Keir Starmer. But what about self-described conservatives and beyond? Simply put, the guy isn't Nigel Farage, but wants to cosplay as him without any conviction, which is odd because I know Starmer has those beliefs within himself. Keir acting like Nigel makes Gal Gadot look classically trained.
In fact, I find recording music telling me to play now.
And the people supporting Nigel to become the next Prime Minister hate Keir because they naively believe Starmer is a liberal pretending to be a conservative, when in reality he is a lump of coal pretending to be a human being with hopes and dreams. Keir is a useless, disposable, interchangeable establishment puppet. Speaking of useless, let's talk about those election results. Oh my god, I cannot believe it. Reform UK won a by-election in a place called Runcorn and Halesby, a town that sounds like it could have featured in a Jane Austen novel, but actually a home to real salt of the earth people, left behind by consecutive Tory and Labour governments. You can always trust The Guardian to write something stupid.
Is Nigel Farage's quest to rid the reform of amateurism paying off?
This is suggested because of the Ground campaign. An easy task to do if you focus most resources in an area that has been left behind by all previous governments. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, without good reason, but Nigel won by 6 votes, which means most people voted against him than for him, but he still gets the seat.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
What an objectively silly political system we have.
Elsewhere, Labour grabbed 3 out of 6 mayors,
which is good? But look at the voter turnout. Boris Johnson wishes his blood pressure was that low. Also, there was a massive councillor shift. I imagine Tory voters swapped life for a lighter colour of blue. I know I feel like a completely different person when I buy Coke instead of Diet Coke. I suspect Labour lost mostly to the Lib Dems and the Green Party, with a lesser extent to the Reform Party. Who knew Labour's slogan of
"We aren't the Tories"? Or are we?
Didn't work a second time round? Who knew posting like a edgelord wouldn't work? Who knew throwing the LGBT plus community under the bus wouldn't work? Who knew starving children wouldn't work? I don't know how May 1st will translate to general election results. I suspect most Reform UK voters might return to the Tories, but that isn't definite. Furthermore, I don't agree with Nigel's assessment that Reform UK are now the main opposition party.
And what tonight does is it embeds us. We now are the opposition party in the United Kingdom to the Labour Party, and the Tories, frankly, are a waste of space.
You won a by-election by 6 votes, buddy, which is still more than the number of MPs you have in Parliament. I do believe that Labour will be squeezed from the left and the right at the next general election, because Labour thinks it can spread itself better than Jean-Claude Van Damme, but nobody will believe him. I wouldn't usually focus on UK elections not happening in London, because giants never concern themselves with the affairs of ants, but I have gracefully made an exception on this occasion. If I could describe the political party system in the UK right now, I would call it a competitive Labour of moles, because there is a serious race to the bottom happening. And I hate using moles as a reference because they are cute, and we don't have a single cute major party leader. When it comes to cute major party leaders, we are in a recession. It still blows my mind that people vote on the superficial policies promised and not the superficial looks of the leaders. How is politics the last safe haven from shallow opinions based on attractiveness? It's quite a disappointment. Personally, I want to see more politicians talk about the great things that could be achieved if we just shared the wealth a bit more. Not even by that much. Unless 2% from the top 0.04% of the population is a bridge too far for you. I would welcome this approach as opposed to all the misdirection focusing on immigrants, trans folk, and people living with disabilities. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.